going to do the February 2017 reading for Aquarius for love, sex, and romance. Now I'm using, as my main deck, I'm using the Tarot of Sexual Magic. I'm going to expand a little bit with the Whispers of Love Tarot deck. Okay, so for Aquarius, for their love and sex and romance for February of 2017, this is kind of going to limit within the month, see how it goes. I thought I would do this as a Valentine's Day gift. So in the present position, Aquarians, you have the Six of Swords. So I'm getting a situation where you may be in thought. Now I got to expand here. You know, a lot of these have their own meaning and people's meaning, but I'm just going to get what I'm given intuitively, so I'm just going to go with that. I'm feeling like these Aquarians are deep in thought. If you're partnered, you may be off in la la land in your mind. It may be a little bit different place than it should be, especially in the intimacy area. It's almost like you're maybe not dreaming of someone else, but something else. Your mind is just not in the moment. So we're talking about sex, love, and romance here. So that's really, I'm getting grounded in all the intimate issues here. So I'm not going to talk about work or anything like that. It's going to be in the bedroom. So Six of Swords to me is saying that maybe your mind's not all there. You're not all in it. And you're just kind of off and not even going to expand on what that is, but just not being in the moment. So that's where you're at. You're crossed with the Eight of Swords. So as I was saying, it may not be about someone else. There is a third party lurker here. So it may be someone is maybe coming upon you and looking at your sexual intimacies, or you may be going outward in that way. And maybe just falling into the mundane. You know, things are just not exciting in that area, so you may be thinking of excitement down the road with someone else. So even though I get a high sense that this is not something that you are doing, it's definitely something that's on your mind. It's just kind of stale. Things are not really active in the bedroom, so that's really the state that you're going at. Now the challenge is to stay celibate, is to stay within the fantasy. You can have the fantasies, just don't go outward with it. Just don't go to that person and look for it. I feel like that being a challenge, you know, the third party. What's on your mind? Again, third party, Three of Swords. So this to me is really almost one step further down this road of, yeah, okay, I'm bored, but where can I go? So this is really taking that step and going, okay, yeah, let's bring in this third party. So, you know, legalities here in the relationship sector is just not right. But definitely looking at opening up situations in that way. So you got to be careful of that, because that's flooding the whole reading here. So that's really what your intent is, either to bring someone in or to really play with that mindset of having more, you know, more excitement, more things going on. Now the energy that's passing away from you, we have the Moon. And that's really a card of celebrating within your own mystery. Now, the Moon is a mysterious card. It's secrets. It's things that are to be revealed. Now, if it's passing away from you, I feel like maybe you know, you've got all these things in your mind and you're going to come forward with it. I feel like you can actually, either you trust in your partner enough that you can do it and you know that your partner would accept it, or you just don't care and you're going forth with this anyway. This is what I want and I'm going to do it. So it's almost, in a sense, coming out of that celibate closet and saying, you know what, I'm going to go in my direction. I don't care what you think. So it's kind of like hiding that. You're just not going to do it anymore. You're going to kind of come upward with it, whether it's a soft sell to the partner or whatever. That's really what you're going to do. Now, in your immediate future, you have the Devil. So you got to beware that this is kind of that devilish side, that, you know, that listening to the ego and wanting to stroke the ego and wanting to be egorific with all of these passions. And you got to be careful, because that's that guy can always get you into trouble, especially if you're partnered. If you're single, well, then maybe that's something that you can legally do. You know what I'm saying? Legally, but I mean within the moral bounds of a relationship. And I feel like you might even have that opportunity where you're maybe dating but nobody's serious. You know, some of these Aquarians might be in a position like that. If you're not, be aware that these are situations that could trip you up and that could get you into trouble if you're partnered. And if you're completely single and your options are open, then it seems like there's maybe a few ways you can go with this. So in the near future, be careful, because your ego, the devil, is coming out. That sexual side, the kind of the addiction side of things is coming forth. So that's something you're going to have to deal with, and make sure that it's level, because when it's not level, it becomes more on the devious side. So you want to balance that out to make sure that you have fun, or you can be a little devious, but make sure that there's limits there, that it's not, you know, going over the boundaries of someone else. You know, you may think this, but if you're stringing someone along here, you got to make sure that everything's in place. Next, in your distant future, you have the 8 of Wands. So that is really indulging passionately and giving, and in between a couple, one person to one person. So it's interesting that becomes in your, so there may be a point here where you are in a situation where you indulge in it, fantasize about it, or completely, you know, use that to your ability. And then in your distant future, it seems like you're just really going to be giving your all to one person. So you're going to be indulging in sexual fantasies in that way. And it may be something that you were, you know, in your mind, you're going, yeah, you know, what would I like? What would they like? What would, you know, and maybe not seeing your partner as having that ability, but then testing it out and seeing that it may be true. So that is something that you have to look forward. As we go along here, we have the 2 of Cups, which is really true love and being within a committed relationship and going down that road and just expressing everything. So it's almost as if this moon here may be influencing the fact that you're just suddenly going to come out with all your fantasies, and then you might even be in a position where you have someone that is willing to make those wishes come true, you know, within the 2 of you. I don't see a third party here so much. We'll keep going. The Knight of Cups, it's really, you know, kind of that guy that comes along on the horse, and it's like, you know, the whole seduction scene, right? So it's like we got the sex and then we got the seductions kind of in a reversed order. So it may be that you've had a situation where, you know, the sex was dull and boring, and now, you know, you're giving up your fantasies, and suddenly it ignites a little bit of more passion on the other side, your side, maybe your side, that you're seeing. You know, maybe you thought your partner wasn't up for certain things, and then you open yourself up, and then you realize, yeah, you're sharing it, you know, and so then you're all excited and you go forward. That's kind of the sense I'm getting here. The next card that you have to go through is the Queen of Pentacles. So that's kind of having a situation where someone is focused on something, but not necessarily in the bedroom. So it's interesting. We have a flip that way and a flip away. So you may have a situation where you're playing 2 people. You may have a situation where you have someone that is just not paying attention to you, that you're wishing would, and then someone who is absolutely indulging. That could be the 3 thing going on here. I don't know. We'll go to the end result card here is the Sun. So it seems like the outlook is just grand and great and wonderful. So you just need to go in that direction. But there might be a little bit of, over the month, there may be a little bit of back and forth. And maybe it's just the Valentine's Day, right? It's that seduction scene, and you kind of bring it all to a head there. And then maybe through that, you find out a little bit about your partner that you may not have known. And it may give one person a sense of coolness and the other person a sense of passion. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag here. It's just not all straight-laced, but definitely a lot of fantasies. I think this is a lot about what is fantasy. And then, you know, just be careful with the devil there, that you gotta be careful. What is your fantasy and what is your reality, what you go outward with. It's okay to fantasize, I think. You can fantasize about whatever. That can spark things in your love life, absolutely. But be careful what you act upon. And that's really, I think, the warning I'm getting here is that. A little bit of back and forth in the relationship. I feel like if you are in a relationship, the people that are solid, it's going to be more about Valentine's Day, about the, coming to a crescendo and having a little bit of passion, a little bit of romance, and coming out of the woodwork there a little bit with some of these feelings. And if you are in a light end relationship, like a dating relationship, I feel like there may be one or two people that you're kind of playing the field with, and you're not quite making up your mind there. I feel like, and one of them is maybe good and passionate in the bedroom, and you kind of connect that way, and maybe another isn't. Another one's kind of, maybe they have a sense of not really being turned on by you, or the opposite, or you're not feeling it so much. So now if you're single, I feel like, yeah, you kind of got you can taste every little fruit on that tree, and you just going for it, and just to be aware to balance things out and not go too heavy with it. And I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine in the end, as long as you keep your morals and ground with balancing out, the devil that could be coming on your shoulder there. So I'm going to give a clarification card from the Love Whispers of Love deck, and it says true love. It says there is no. See, I'm having a hard time. I've got this light coming from the camera. The love is once in a lifetime love. So that's interesting. I feel like there are a few different scenarios coming in here. I've got the singles, the singles, the couples, and then the long-term couples, like that have been together for a while. And I feel like the long-term couples that have been together for quite a while, they got to really kind of work on pulling in some of their excitement, their passions, bringing that back. Because I feel like you're really in the mode. You're in the mode here, where you are. Just maybe there's some things getting in the way, like work and the grind, right? So you want to make sure that that's, just bring that back up to a certain degree. Share. I really get a sense that these Aquarians are going to share their fantasies, and that's going to really kind of ignite some things. So be careful of the true love, and be careful with the singles, because I'm getting a sense of these singles going like, I know this ain't going to be mine, but you may come across that. You may come across a certain situation where you should really treat everyone that you do go forth in that way as a true love, as in the moment. Be wary of that. Not wary of it, but be aware of it, so that you enjoy the moment more, instead of going, flipping gears so quickly. Just be aware that every possibility, every opening that you have in that way could be an entrance into true love, and you want to be in the moment with that. So that's really what I'm getting from these guys. Is there's a lot going on here, a lot I can't really, I'm not eloquent enough to say properly, but the bottom line is the singles, they're tasting the fruit on every little tree that's around. So be careful in that moment, when you're in that scenario, in those situations, to be in the moment and feel the passion and feel that all of that person has to offer. Even if you know that person is not the one, just give it your all. Give it your passion in the moment. Just release that. Because I get a feeling from these Aquarians that they're like, yeah, that ain't the one. But you know what? You can still go in there with all you got. And even though it may not be a lifetime, supply here, you just give it what you got in the moment, and you just are better for it in the end. It's just living right up to the moment, and then the couples are going back and forth, and there may be one of them or both of them are thinking of a threesome kind of a a situation, and that kind of excites them, but they will or they won't engage in that. I'm not too sure. I mean, there's a myriad of ways and myriad of people that are going to indulge or not indulge in this. And so that seems to be something that is giving a spark to more passion. And it's also some kind of secret that comes forth, maybe through Valentine's Day, maybe through the month, being in the romantic situations that Valentine's Day can bring, seeing a different side of the person sexually, intimately, you know, going, you think that, you know, and maybe being with a partner for quite a while and not really knowing that about them. So that's interesting in itself. And yet indulging, with the couples indulging in trying to fulfill their fantasies as well. Maybe some secrets coming out and going, hey, I could make that happen. You know, one of the couples going, yeah, the masculine and the feminine going, yeah, I could make that happen. I could do that. You know, and maybe not even in the area of a 3 scenario, more of just something that person is secretively saying, you know, I didn't want to say, but this turns me on. So then they bring it forth, and then it becomes something that they try, and it engages them in a way. But then a back and forth play as well. So there's a lot going on with these Aquarians. A lot of different scenarios I'm picking up on. So it's interesting, but be aware that, you know, this true love, that you could have your true love. Be aware of that. So fertilize that, and I don't mean that literally. I mean, you know, stimulate that. You know, release that. Play with that. And if it isn't true love, still do that anyway. Still give it your all. Give it all you got, and know that, you know, you never went into a scenario where you weren't passionate, where you weren't giving. And I think that's what you need to do, is just come forth with everything that you got in the moment, and release some of that onto the other person in faith that they can help you bring forth, you know, or work out some of those fantasies, or just bring forth to stimulate the romanticism that's in the air, that kind of thing. So that is the romance, love, sex for February of 2017. I have to start saying 17 and not 16. And hopefully this makes sense to some of you Aquarians, and you could do something with it. So we'll carry on here into this new year of 2017, and hopefully people are stimulated in the right ways. So take care and be kind.